Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
So welcome back, everybody. This is your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni. We're back.
We are.
After a week off.
I know. You look different.
Do I?
A little bit.
Oh.
Anything new going on with your friend? Or?
Well, Ooh, where did my neck brace go? No, I'm a little different. We're just at the Patreon, and I am going to have to talk a little slower. I might not be able to be as quick as regular because I'm slightly concussed. Still have a little knot. I still got a little boo-boo. I was in a car accident, guys. I survived it, though. I walked away. Everybody's okay. My car's not, but that car's donezo. Yeah. But I'm not.
Peace to the car. You
yes.
know? But we're glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
Yay. And we're very happy that you guys are here because we do have a fresh episode this week for you guys where we're actually reviewing a book. Look at us, okay? Mm-hmm. So the title of this week's book, you guys, is Confessions of a Video Vixen. And technically, it's also Vindicated, which is like the 10-year anniversary of this very same book titled the same. So, I'm going to give you guys a little synopsis. This is not a new book, but stay with me here. So Confessions of a Video Vixen is a memoir by Karrine Steffans, chronicling her experiences in the hip-hop industry and entertainment industry as a video vixen. In this book, Steffans provides an unfiltered look at her tumultuous life from her troubled childhood, marked by abuse and neglect, to her rise in fame in the early 2000s. Steffans recounts her relationships with numerous high-profile celebrities, including rappers, athletes, and entrepreneurs, exposing the exploitative. Do you know this since you have a concussion? Are you sure? I'm just kidding. Okay. Exposing the exploitative and toxic dynamics within the industry.
They be exploiting,
guys. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I didn't even have a concussion. I can barely say it. So here we are. So this is the book this week, you guys. And I think before we get into it, we're going to dedicate this episode in true fab form. So hands over your hearts, everyone. We want to thank our patrons, you guys, first and foremost, for their continued support. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. If you are not a patron of the show, hopefully you enjoyed last week's episode because that was a really raw and unfiltered episode. Lots of cussing in there.
I had to beep so much.
Oh my God. And the thing that got me about that, and this is kind of a tangent, was that we bleeped so much stuff. But then there was like so many other things. Like had you bleeped everything, there wouldn't even have been an episode, which is why you have to go over to the Patreon, you guys. We would never get sponsors, okay? So yeah, pop over there, guys. We have some really fun and candid conversations. You guys can pull up at Patreon/The Fab Podcast if you're interested. And also, I want to dedicate this episode to you, friend, because you're back this week.
That's me.
Yeah, because it's funny because I feel like ever since we reviewed one of them days, it's like, yeah.
Oh,
one of them weeks, one of them days, one of them years.
Lives.
Yeah. So I'm just grateful that you weren't hurt beyond, just a concussion and all of that kind of stuff, that you made it out safe. We've personally had some people close to us pass recently. And so there's nothing like those sort of things that kind of remind you of like, dang, life is short and enjoy the people that you love, enjoy the things that you love. So, you're already a reminder of that, but that just made it even more like, damn.
Thank you, friend. I know the song that's been in my mind is Stevie Wonder's These Three Words from the Jungle Fever soundtrack. Where it's just like the ones you say you cherish every day could be instantly taken away.
Right. I thought that too.
Through the tears, you'd say, why did you go?
Why?
Like knowing you didn't always show just how much you love them so. These three words. These three. That's a hell of a
good one.
But thank you, friend. Yes, and my dedication is going out to my community, you included, who made me feel so very cared for. It was a tough time, but it's also just a reminder, like even in loss, how much you still have. It was actually kind of beautiful. Aww. So even in the loss, there's beauty, and I was really, really grateful for that. And I'm also going to give it up to Vivian Jenna Wilson. Who's that, you may ask? Well, that is Elon Musk's daughter, who's given up 2 big old middle fingers to that dude in a Teen Vogue article. I suggest you check it out. Elon Musk is a very polarizing figure right now. And if you don't really like him, I suggest you check out what young Vivian has to say. It's pretty funny. She's a pistol. So, yeah, dedication over.
Yay. Okay, guys.
Thank you, Vivian.
Okay, so let's get into it, friends.
Okay.
So this book, a few stats. So like I mentioned, this is not a new book at all. The original book.
Read new books.
We don't. We're not on the cutting edge of anything, guys. I mean, let's be for real. But so Karrine Steffans is our author. This book was actually published June 28th of 20, and we don't even say 20 at this time. It was 2005. It's about 224 pages, and if you're listening on an audiobook or like the Libby app or something like that, it's a 6 hour and 30-minute audiobook, which is pretty quick to get through.
It's so weirdly short for as much as it is. It's almost as if it isn't written well.
It's wow. And then the other book, so here's what had happened. The idea to review this book was because I knew that the 20th anniversary of this book was dropping in March of 2025. And so like last year, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be looking out for that because I have literally never read this book. I feel like it's a hood classic. I feel like it is, up there with a lot of the books in the,
the
canon
pantheon, like 50 Laws of Power.
It's like
the 4 Agreements and Confessions of a Video Vixen.
Absolutely. So I was like, I gotta get this in my repertoire. So I thought that'd be a great time to review it when she was releasing it, because there was supposed to be some new content. And so when we were kind of when I was trying to find it, I saw Vindicated, and I feel like I sent it to you like, is this it? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. But then once I started listening, I'm like, I don't think this is it. So because I hadn't listened to the original, I thought it was more important for me to go for the original content as opposed to the second one. But Vindicated was 10 years after, published in June of 2015. It's about 224 pages, and it's also it's just under 7 hours. It's about 6 hours and 53 minutes if you're listening. So we'll be talking about both books. We'll probably start with the first one because the second one I didn't get to read. Kat she read the one back in the day. Did you re-listen to this for this episode?
Yes.
Both? Okay, so listen, we got both. I'm so excited.
I was actually listening to it when I got in the wreck.
Oh no. Can you imagine if that was the last thing you heard? That's crazy.
That was suck. Because I was irritated.
Oh my God, right.
Ugh.
Man, you'd have come back as a grumpy ghost. It's like, I hated that. Oh my God. Yeah, so okay, so where do we even start, friend? I mean, like, we got to time travel a little bit.
Okay, let me see if I can find something about our author.
Okay,
because I was so irritated. I didn't even want to look something up. So
wow,
let me pull something up on her real quick.
It's real rude. It's giving.
Because it's so terrible to be this negative. I'm gonna do the short one, okay? Because we're really gonna talk about this brat. Karrine Steffans, also known as Elizabeth Overseen, is an American author and former video vixen and actress. She is best known for her Vixen book series and her 2005 tell-all memoirs, Confessions of a Video Vixen. The memoir scandalized the rap world. And Steffans, who is nicknamed Superhead. Steffans has appeared in more than 20 music videos and a porno.
Oh, damn.
With Mr. Marcus.
Oh, he's a porn star.
Yep.
Okay. Ding. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Maybe I'll throw up a picture of him. Here's Mr. Marcus.
Oh, wow. That's very ambitious of you, friend.
Thank you.
Okay. Sleepy You's not going to appreciate that. But okay. Okay, so yeah, this is we're taken back to the early 2000s, man.
What a time.
Which were already wild. And I remember when this book came out again, like there was just like a lot of like, oh my gosh, because at this time, if you think about it, there wasn't like, the
there's
social
no horrible
media
decisions.
stuff. Yeah, there's nothing really normalizing hoe culture to the extent in which it is now. Like we see this all the time. We're not scandalized.
No.
But then it was kind of like, you have somebody getting ready to write a book about all of the celebrities they slept with,
and naming
and
names.
stuff, and naming names. Like, we're not even being discreet about it.
Because I remember Buffy the Body had one. the stripper, and I remember reading it and being like, "Oh, this isn't nearly as it
Juicy
wasn't."
as I thought. He threw
and
it down.
she
I was
didn't
like,
name names either,
Okay.
which is the right thing to do.
Okay, so if you were a hua, okay, and you had an opportunity where somebody even approached you and was like, look, I think your life was so compelling. People are going to die to hear about all of your exploits. I think you should write a book about this. Like, you could really make a name for yourself, and, especially if you name names. Like, if you get it out there. So what you gonna do?
Would, now, because once again, this was back before consent was invented. So now that we have consent, I think through that lens, this is a huge violation of it. Like, to me, I recently coined this as literary revenge porn. And I'm actually irritated because I consider myself a feminist. So it feels really bad, like, defending these men because they're not good, but they don't deserve to have their sex lives aired out without their consent. Like, whenever you go into the bedroom with someone, you're sharing something private, regardless of if it's commercial or not. Like, even I would actually make the argument that it's a tacit understanding that you're paying for the sex worker's discretion. Like when money's being exchanged. And so, but even if money's not being exchanged, let's just say for, my sex partners I've had, I would be extremely hurt if they published the details of it without my consent and for money and didn't give me a cut. You know what I mean? Like, that to me.
Well, essentially, because you are kind of making money off of their names. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily want to talk about the people you had sex with before, they don't care about the people you had sex with that weren't them.
Yeah, like, that's not what's so, because it was actually really sad because I don't,
Look at you.
it's, once again, it sounds so bad because this woman has been through so much. Like, I believe her stories of abuse, it's really, really sad, like, from her mother and, like I said, from her lovers. Like, she's been through so much, and actually I think her ability to get off drugs is very admirable. What I was gonna say? Oh, having the foresight to trademark the word Superhead. Very, very smart. Like, that was really, really, she's not a stupid person. But I think that, weirdly enough, through the lens, I don't like the fact that she tries to market herself as an empowered feminist icon, because this isn't that.
Okay, so to be fair, so she's 46-ish now.
Okay.
And at the time, so she was like 20. She starts off kind of when she's 19. Like, we kind of, so like you say, she talks about her childhood. Her mom seemed to be this woman who was desperate for men's attention. Like, apparently she was a beautiful woman, but she couldn't really, air quotes, keep a man or whatever. And so you always have this feeling that her mom's chasing after men, can't keep men in her life. So, her daughter witnesses this, and then in her adult life, she ends up running away from her home, being homeless for a while, living with her dad for a little bit, which improved her situation for a little bit, but then ultimately deciding to kind of go out on her own and get it how she lives, as you say. And then her just discovering that, like, her sexuality was like a really easy way to do it in terms of, like, leveraging not having like a formal education or anything else.
I wouldn't say easy. I would say quick.
Yeah, that's what
hoeing is like.
But what's interesting is that, like, it's not like she ever framed it as like, I am a hoe, though. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true.
I think that in her mind, when she was that young, I don't think she thought what she was doing was hoeing. And I'd like to ask her now, like, do you realize that's what that was?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you look back, because the way she talks about her interactions with these men, like, every single man she talked about, I don't care who, I was in love with this mom. Like, every single time, I'm like, straight up.
That was so irritating.
I was like, so that's the thing. It's like, is that because you learned, like, you never learned what an actual relationship was? Any man paying you any kind of attention sexually or monetarily, you think is your man? You know what I mean? That's how it felt. So then I'm just like, I don't think she ever looked at herself as a sex worker in the way that we think of it. Like, I think maybe on some level she recognized that there was this exchange happening, but I think that maybe she was like not registering
There's
that she was
a lot of
sex worker.
delusional and contradictory thinking. That's what irritates me. I don't like it when people try to be like, well, I was doing this, this, and this, and I didn't do anything. It's like, no, you was...
Well, okay, so
let's start back. Like, she was born in was it St. Thomas?
yes.
Okay, she's born in St. Thomas, had a kind of nice upbringing there because she had her grandma in her life. And it sounds like that was kind of like the person that was in between, like her mom really getting on her too hard. And then they moved to New York chasing after her daddy. And she wasn't able to have that protection anymore. And things really started going downhill. Her mom had other kids that she just liked more. With another
like
guy.
She framed it like her mom was jealous of her, which you do see that happen
that
sometimes,
does happen,
which is weird.
and perhaps that was it. It sounds like her mom was just, for whatever reason, kind of messed up and probably shouldn't have been a mom. And it looks like her whole life she was just searching for that security and family. Like she wanted to be cared, like we all do. You want to be cared for. You want to be seen as valuable.
And she's like 18 or something.
Yeah,
she's
super.
Really, really
no,
young.
she was even younger because she was stripping underage.
She
was lying about her age.
Yes.
Yeah, so she was lying about her age. So really, she was getting in super. It's just so young, and it's
well, and think about like how that changes the way your brain even works, though, because like the way that you're processing, you know, even just interactions with men is very transactional, like from the very start. You know what I mean? So like you're looking at them like this seems like a reasonable way to make money because it's like, what else? You know what I mean? And then the lady who brought her into it was her boyfriend's mom was a stripper.
Yeah,
and
who
then
she was looking up to and stuff. And it's like, but then she started being so mean. It's like, no, that chick was a predator. Like what grown woman would look at a 16-year-old? It's like, you should come to the strip club with me and strip.
But so that's what's interesting to me. Like when she was telling stories, like you're already kind of grown now as you're telling the story, but you're not like it was like she was telling the story from her 16-year-old self still, like in
almost
that mind frame.
13, like even younger to me. I feel like even at 16, like I was holding down a job. You know what I mean? Like there was, and here's the thing, this is why I try not to be too harsh because these are experiences I haven't had. So I have a privilege that she doesn't. So I've read this before. I don't know how true it is, but it's been sort of said that if you have sort of an early childhood trauma, especially sexual, you can sometimes be stunted at that maturity level.
Maybe.
And so to me, that's what it felt like. Like she's going into all of this stuff as like almost like a 13 or 14-year-old, like the amount of naivete.
Yeah.
And just being led along, like just the amount of stories where men barely had that story with Jay-Z. Like, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but damn, Jay-Z, and that's the thing too, because this is where I do blame the men, because like I said, no one has the right to have their private, you know, when it comes to sex, we know there's different rules. So when you're sharing an experience, sexual experience with somebody else, if you want to talk about it, fine, but if they're not consenting to be a part of it, leave their name out of it. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's fair. That's just
because it is your experience. So,
so you're allowed to talk about your experience, but if they're not into it, just like you don't publish like nudes people send you. Like that was just an experience y'all were supposed to share. So, but for the men like Ice-T and Jay-Z who actually pimp, you know what I mean? Like they really know, like they said, like real pimps can look at a woman and know how much mileage they have on them. You know, like they know what they can and can't do. Because Ice-T handled it perfect. He was like, "Hey, girl, I gotta let you go," and she was like, "Okay, Ice-T," and like it was just like he was like he got no static from her because he knew how to handle her. And same thing with Jay-Z. He was just like, "Yep, that is a blowjob factory." He was like, "Come in the car with me," and he just basically put her in the
blowjob factory.
Seriously, he clocked her immediately and was like, "I'm not taking you to dinner. I'm not having a conversation with you. Get in the car with me. I'm undoing my pants and you're going to work and then we're going back to the set." And that's exactly how it went down. So it's like that to me was like so sadly tragic that I'm like, in a way, it's so contradictory because there's a part of me that was like, damn, that was such a foul thing to do. But also, you're not supposed to talk about sex without someone's consent.
I mean, so then like what is the thought behind, so as a notable guy or a person, I mean, that's the thing too, because it's not like that's a relationship, right? Like that's just I mean, it wasn't even like there was an exchange of money. Like maybe
That's
you
what
got
I'm
to be
saying.
like, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's why I'm confused, because it would be more cut and dry if it was like, if she was just like, I was being paid for a job. But like the fact that she was showing up like, I'm just doing these things for these opportunities.
You're just
or
broken.
whatever.
Like you can
Yeah,
see
it
that
was
this is
sad.
a
I
very
was like,
young,
oof.
broken young lady, and
Yeah.
you were just like, oh yeah, I do need my dick sucked.
Yeah.
So
And she was like,
she's
I've been
pretty.
sucking dick,
And that's
so.
the other thing too. I've heard this from men before. Usually, I don't know this. Like this is just something that's been said.
Word on the
but
street.
usually, like girls who are pretty aren't that good at head because they don't have to be. Like your
Right, unless
your
you just
visual
love it somehow.
your visual appearance is enough to arouse a man, so you don't necessarily have to do a lot of extra work to get them there. Whereas they would say girls who are less attractive tend to have more skills in that department.
Okay.
So I guess
Heard
the
that.
combination of the two, where you're actually skilled and actually pretty, was just like a 1-2 punch that took Mr. Marcus out. Like anyone who's seen the video,
Man. Oh
because
my
that was
God.
consensual. Everybody's getting paid for
really?
that.
Did you
Yeah,
see it?
yeah,
Oh. You're like, psh, of course.
yeah. Yeah,
I didn't see it,
because
guys.
you could tell she was down bad too. Like she needed that
Really?
money.
Was her
'cause-
hair done?
Nope.
Oh,
Nails
no.
weren't done.
Oh, no.
Asshole wasn't bleached. It was but it was just the
Yeah.
things where it was like, usually when you see porn stars, they're,
Stars.
yeah, like
Hopefully.
they're. But like I said at the time, she doesn't really talk about that a lot either.
No,
like
I
that's
was
not
gonna say,
in
I
any
had
of the
no
book.
idea. Why wouldn't she talk about that?
I maybe
I wonder
she's
what year
ashamed
it
of
was.
it. Like it was in, maybe it's because I haven't seen it.
To
Like I saw
me-
it back when it came out. So
Oh, okay.
like I haven't seen it in front. Because
I
now,
thought maybe you looked it up for research.
because now who I am now, I wouldn't read like I reread it just because I'd already read it.
Mm-hmm.
But like it, just like when someone has a leaked sex tape, I try not to watch that because this is basically someone's consent being violated, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
which is
prefer
kinda messed
not
up.
to
participate in it.
yeah. And
Mhm.
even though like technically the sex tape, it was porn, it wasn't like a leaked sex tape. This
That's
was
what I was gonna
for
say, it was, like,
commerce.
professional.
It's still, once again, just knowing, okay, let me use another
wonder how
example
old
of a
she
hoe
was.
memoir, because I love a hoe memoir.
Okay.
Okay.
What's one that you love?
Jenna Jameson's autobiography, How to Make Love to a Porn Star.
Wow.
That is actually what I would consider a really well-written, like sort of story
Okay.
about someone in the sex industry.
I got it.
And how they were able to, just how they made their moves. And she used like pseudonyms and stuff like that.
Maybe
But
she needed a ghostwriter.
Jenna Jameson had a ghostwriter.
That's what I was gonna say,
So
like, that
yeah,
might
and it
be-
was a very good read.
Okay.
And it also gave, like, it's shown a light. It really humanized her. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So do you think she missed the mark in these books with humanizing herself in your eyes? Like, was it really hard?
She's a human being. And like I said, I really did feel bad. Like, 'cause she suffered a lot of abuse, but she's not a good writer. Like, she kind of portrays herself, because she's, like I said, she's intelligent. Like, I'm not calling her stupid, but most people aren't good writers. Writing is hard. It's like any
Yeah.
other skill. And just writing down your experiences doesn't make you a good writer. And I think she was exploited by the publishing industry as well.
Oof.
Because like I said, they just wanted these names. And like I said, and I believe her. Like, I think she's telling the truth. She's not, libeling anyone. It's just, this isn't.
Like, it could have been more compelling in terms of, like, yeah, like you say, humanizing her, because like it was, to me, like reading it felt like well, for one, I had a hard time reading it and not thinking about her, the fact of like where she probably is now versus where she was at this time, and then being like, okay, yeah, we're talking about being a 16-year-old, a broken 16-year-old going in, and then being exposed to wealth and power and access and all kinds of stuff, and how intoxicating those things can be. And then by the time you realize it, it's like, well, I'm already spent, and then it's like, well, what do I do now? Like, I'm already here.
Yeah,
And then
they
you
already
don't have any
used you and spit you
yeah,
out.
you don't have any real self-worth. And so like the work to rebuild yourself, I think that's the part in my mind that humanizes anybody in those situations, no matter how, like, it feels like, okay, you were bad at your job, right? Like, if you were gonna be a hoe, for one, you should just claim it and then go ahead and do it well.
Like Jenna Jameson.
Be good at your job.
It's like,
Just
I'm
go
gonna
ahead
make
and
a
be good at it.
website. Like, I'm gonna just, it's like, if I'm a hoe, I'm gonna be the best hoe I can be. I think I told you, I felt like she was an inefficient hoe.
I'm mad that those were the notes. You're like, the only notes I have is
Inefficient hoe.
I'm
But I
like,
actually
whoa.
had more notes than that.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
that's what bothered me about it. Because like I said, I think in her mind, she had this cognitive dissonance of like, I'm not a hoe,
Yeah.
I am an empowered empowered, independent woman.
No, and maybe she is
but
now.
you're deeply dependent on men.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to see now, because I was like, you know what? I'm being really hard on her. A lot of time has gone by. Maybe she's turned it around. No.
She hasn't turned it around?
So I went online to see what she was up to, because I haven't really been checking for her. But yeah, I looked up to see, like, I
What
just
she's
went
doing
on
now.
YouTube to see what she was into and stuff and what the tea was. So the latest tea, about 2 years ago, so this is when she was 44, she got knocked up by this Nigerian celebrity chef named Kwame.
Oh, let's
and
Google
then
him.
got
What?
super mad when she saw him at a some basketball game in New York with another woman. And then like went on live and started talking crazy and stuff. And then he filed like a court injunction to keep her from talking about him. And I was like, okay, so you're still on the same stuff. And then she actually flew out to New York to confront him. And I was just like, okay, so you still haven't learned the game yet, which is... and he was like young, he was not young, but like
Younger
compared to
than her.
her, like he was like 33. And so, because like you said, she's in love with everybody.
That's the part that I was just like,
So
yeah,
you
girl.
don't know what that is, especially the Lil Wayne. Oh, so you haven't read any of the Lil Wayne stuff?
No, and oh my gosh.
That's what was driving me crazy.
Okay, but wait, before we get to Lil Wayne,
sorry,
let's go
back
through
to Kwame.
Well, back to Kwame. So
Okay.
stay in order.
I was
you
trying.
guys.
That was really hard for me to save this until the episode.
Okay. So we're going to get to Lil Wayne. And before we get to, because when you said that made me think about just a lot of the other celebrity people. I want to make sure we name the names on here too, because people want to hear that. There's lots of names.
Yeah.
But okay, so now today, I haven't seen a lot, but I do know that she does have a podcast that was in 2022.
Okay.
As well. I haven't seen it a lot. Like I've seen clips or whatever.
I don't think she kept it
Whatever.
up.
I don't think she did either.
Yeah. Once again, it's
The
hard to keep a.
consistency
I don't know if people out there know. Podcasting is hard.
Yeah, you got to really, and I mean, it looked beautifully produced. It looked like WTF Media, or if not them, Alex Media was part of it.
Because I don't think WTF Media would want to be associated with this brand, because those are efficient hoes.
You think they would be turning their nose up at her?
Yes.
Are
she
you
doesn't,
serious?
Because I think they're very different. I was going to actually bring up their book, No Hose Barred, because I think they are empowered. Like Mandy and Wheezy.
Wow.
Like, I think they are very much, for one, they know how to get money without men.
Absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely. That's part of it.
and they know when men are actually into them or a plaything. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like, both of them have and I think they maybe starting out didn't have as much self-worth, but now,
But
like, if I
right.
was gonna have, like, let's say my daughter listen to, like, I would, like, yeah, listen to them. Like, they will tell, like, they give out good advice. Like, they'll be like, no, that dude's he's not checking for you.
Okay.
Like, and they definitely.
So they're not delusional hoes. Is what
They
you're
are
saying.
not
Okay.
delusional hoes. They wouldn't have let some dude hit Raw and just, and then be chasing out after him when he told you, like, if you're, because he basically told her, it's like, if you're pregnant, get an abortion. I don't want nothing
Is
to
that
do.
what he said?
Yes. And then she's still trying to be like, okay, so you said what you said, but obviously, here's the thing. Men will pretend to be in love with you to hit Raw and get you to have sex with them like you're in love with them, but not really be in love with you. Men will say, I think, there was a song by R. Kelly and Jay-Z called Pussy. And as much as, R. Kelly, don't really care for him, but that nigga can sing. And he has a rip where he's like, niggas will do anything for some pussy. It don't matter who you are in this world, you're gonna wanna get you some. Yes, you will. Yeah. Like, they really, it's like, it's the power of the Pussy. That's why niggas get their hair cut, try to just fly. Like, they laid it out, okay? So if you don't know this yet, and like I said, I feel like Weezy and Mandy, they laid that out. They know that.
Yeah.
And they're much younger, too.
And I will say, too, because I have heard about Mandy B's especially when she was dealing with married men. And she said that she doesn't do that now.
Right.
But she used to and did not care. However, she was like, I would be in the suite of my married guy, air quotes, guys, if you're not watching. And she was like, I would never like say anything. I still haven't heard her name any names.
Exactly.
You know,
she's not burning bridges.
But this is why she can still.
And she would even say too, when you're dealing with married men, she's like, I'm not doing it for free. Like that was the thing too.
Period.
She's like, if you're married, because it's not going to go anywhere. So I have to get everything.
Get what I can
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's once again. That's why you have to be, if you're going to hoe, be efficient. You have to get the money. That is the oldest rule. Like, it's the oldest profession in the world, and that is the first rule. Get the money first.
Up front, babe.
And so you can't be mad when it's just like, well,
I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment.
I kept texting him, and he's not texting me back. I kept calling him. He's not calling me back. I flew out to see him, and I broke into his hotel room, was taking a bubble bath, and he told me to get out. Like,
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah,
and
okay.
You didn't read Vindication. Oh, good Lord.
Okay. You want to get to Vindicated. Let's talk about some of the people, though, first, real quick, in the first book. Because
there's a lot of, I forgot how many there were.
I just had to ask ChatGPT, who are all the ones that, because I had a list from what I read, but I'm like, I thought she was affiliated with this person, with this person. So it gave like a kind of a rundown. So in the early years, before she was like really famous in the late 90s, early 2000s, she was her baby daddy. Her baby's daddy was Nathaniel Wilson, who is Cool G Rap. And so they had, I think he's right, they had a baby together or whatever. That sounded like a wildly toxic relationship.
I was so mad when she was like, God, just let me get pregnant and then I'll have the strength to leave. It's like,
that's gonna make it worse.
It's like, girl, this party sucks. I'm gonna invite somebody else.
A baby, an innocent of all people too, though. That's so wild how girls feel like that's a thing.
Yeah,
Don't
once
ever
again,
do that.
very young,
very
broken.
very young. And then so as she started to transcend into her video vixen years in the early and mid 2000s, we got Ja Rule. He was married, so they were having an affair, and apparently he had a bunch of other women in his life as well.
Oh, it didn't even have Irv Gotti on there. She was messing with him too.
That's what I needed. Irv Gotti, yes, because that was in
they
the
were
book.
just passing around.
Jay-Z, but that sounded like just
head in the car.
Head in the car.
Let her play with the dick in the truck.
And oh God, okay, that's what he was talking about.
What?
No, probably lots of girls.
No,
anyway.
I think that was actually Nas's baby mama, as a matter of fact.
Just messy.
Method
Man. So she doesn't name him, but that's
he's
Papa,
named in
right?
the other one.
Okay.
In the Vixen Diaries or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, she was calling him Papa in this book, but yeah, Method Man.
So Method
Very
Man.
married.
Extremely married. Still married to that same lady. DMX.
Also married.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Married.
Also married. Usher.
Single.
Puff Daddy. Don't know if he was married to that. Was he married to Kim?
I don't think he ever got married.
No, he wasn't married. Okay.
But I think he was messing with J-Lo.
Yeah, okay. So there you have it. And because she mentioned J-Lo. Okay. Then we got Exhibit.
I don't think he was married.
Bobby Brown,
married
to
Whitney Houston, I think.
Yeah, definitely married. Lil Wayne.
No, but he was having babies while she swore they were together.
Oh my God. Okay, Dr. Dre.
That was real quick, but I don't know who.
I guess it counts still. And then Vince Carter.
Oh, I didn't. That wasn't in the book, was it?
I don't know. This was with ChatGPT, so y'all can tell me in the comments if it's wrong. This was like
I forgot about Bill Maher.
Eddie Winslow,
Darius McCrary. They were married.
Oh shit! And then Merlin Santana. I had to like.
Yeah, Romeo.
Who passed away. That was messed up. Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Bow Wow. Chris Brown. 50
she messed
Cent.
with Chris Brown. I didn't know that.
It said R&B singer had an encounter with him.
Okay.
50 Cent mentioned him in an interview, claiming he was a gentleman but critical of her past. Drake, rumored to have a brief encounter with her, though never confirmed. The Game, the rapper hinted at a past connection with Steffans in interviews. I don't even know if I want to put his name out there because he's good and passed away. But,
right. There's no way to confirm
There's no way to.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these might be lies. There was a hint at some other folks. The rest of these seem like
maybes.
I'm not gonna say them because I don't know, but
what? Paul Mooney?
That's a controversial claim circulated about him, but with no credible confirmation exists. So I'm like, I'll say that. But there's a few of them that are like, the rumors are out, but we don't know. But anyway, an extensive list of celebrity men who we all have heard of. So I just thought, wow.
Fred Durst. That's not
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst. Yeah.
She seemed thirsty for the Dursty.
Yeah.
She was out here.
She was begging. She's like, can I please go with you? And he was like, no, baby girl.
Gotta go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the part that got me. I'm like, for one, she's a beautiful girl. Like, I don't know why she ever
So desperate.
Yeah, it was like, why?
Yeah.
They're clearly willing to give, like, Shaq, I mean, she was like, maybe we slept together like 3 times. And he like furnished her. He was 10 racks instantly, 15 racks instantly. Like, and he was like, just buy furniture big enough so if I come over and sit down, I'm not uncomfortable.
And then when she was down bad, and she's like, and then I called all these guys, and none of them were willing to help me. It's like, girl, what do you think the game is? The fuck you think this is?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
That's when you want to put on the white glove and
I'm like, girl, like my whole thing is, Ice-T. Did
Ice-T was on there.
But Ice-T knew how to handle. Like I said, like,
yeah, he did.
He definitely
put them on there too. Okay, so let's move. Okay,
so Vindication.
All right, well, let's talk about how we wrapped
or
up
Vindicated.
the
I
book.
keep on the Vindication.
Vindicated. So the book wraps up. So the Video Vixen book sort of, like, to me, there was no real arc in the book either.
No, because
you know what I'm saying?
nothing
like,
happened.
You're just talking about
You're bouncing from place to place.
Right. So what are the lessons? Like what did you actually like apply and learn in your life? And I felt like that's what it was lacking. Because it's like, okay, yeah, we got these sensational stories about these men that you've had sexual intercourse with, and, you know, the ups and downs, like, clearly, yeah, like, there was a lot that went down.
Well,
but
she tried to wrap it up and say that she's married now and her life is so normal and she has a close, you know, she's going to church now.
She didn't say that.
Yeah, she did at the end of
Vixen book.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
She's
she was married.
I'm so yeah.
Who was she married to?
Darius McCary.
What?
Eddie Winslow. Yes.
Oh.
So that's what Vindicated is
Wow.
about. Her
She's
crazy
like, I'm
relationship with him, because they were just
wow.
married for a little bit and ended up getting divorced.
Okay.
But they're you gotta read it.
Can you do it, friend?
I don't know if I can. Like, so this is like
Okay.
10 years later, and basically the book starts out with her getting evicted from her condo.
The one that she got in the first book?
I don't
The
know.
house? Oh.
Doubtful.
Okay.
Okay. But she's being put out because she, ends up losing her house because she had bought a house and got, that got foreclosed on. And so she's in this condo and she's trying to pack up because she's being put out because she's sleeping with this man named, she calls him Bruce. I doubt if that was his real name. And he's either married or engaged or something like that. She's having an affair with him, but she's still with Darius McCary. Like, what does she call him? She calls him Aaron in the book.
Okay.
But like, she's still with him, but he's bouncing around and not giving her any money, but still coming to the crib, just
busting her down.
Basically. And so she's just saying, like, Bruce came by with the envelope because she's like, I need $2,800 so I don't get evicted. And so she's counting the money and she's like, there's only $2,000. And she's like, Bruce, what the fuck? So she's trying to get you enraged with her. But I'm also like, first off,
oh my God,
it's not his job really to take care of you. Like, y'all are sleeping together, but that doesn't mean somebody's got to pay your rent. Like, if that's your arrangement, then get the money first and then sleep with him.
Right.
But secondly, since you're still living with your husband or your ex-husband, that nigga should be paying.
Why isn't he? That's crazy. Because he lives there too?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And this is why I'm angry, because you're making me side with this dude who's cheating on his fiance or wife.
Wow.
Because he has a point. Why should I pay for the residence where you're sucking someone else's dick? You know what I mean?
There's a grown man who lives there.
Big grown man.
Wow.
And then she's talking about like how angry she was, like how he was, Eddie, I'm gonna call him Eddie Winslow. How Eddie Winslow was just standing there pretending to help or pack and just standing there being big and black. I was like, hold up. Because she does that twice where she uses black as a pejorative. And I did not like that either. So, because she's a light-skinned woman, you know what I mean? So it's like, you doing that colorism stuff, and that's irritating me too. So it's bad enough that you don't even understand the game, but you gonna be colorist too? Okay.
And meanwhile, his whole black, you know what, is all up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only a problem now, though. That's interesting. Kind of like Kanye and his,
So I did not enjoy that. So that's how the book starts.
Oh, wow.
And so, it's supposed to be kind of like, oh, I got it all together and blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what happens. It's just so it's 10 years later and you're still doing the same stuff.
Ooh, okay.
You're destabilizing your son's life. Like, she pulls him out of school. You know, like she's doing all this crazy stuff. Like it was,
that's the one thing we didn't really jump into in the first book that was really, really sad and hard to listen to, was just like how neglected her son was. And it was so crazy to me, like how apparent it was that she was literally doing the same shit her mom was doing, that she was dragging her mom. I mean, like the vitriol in which she described, like, she just didn't have any respect for her mom, thought she was the worst kind of person, chasing after these guys. And I'm thinking, bitch, you're doing the same thing. You're literally showing your son, though, how he should treat women, or how women should be expected to
these
treat.
men going in and out of the life,
that's
too.
crazy.
Because he got really attached to Eddie Winslow.
Did he?
Yes.
Because he's living
He's
there.
like,
that's sad.
it was super sad because
no.
he wasn't super, and to keep it a buck, like, I believe everything she said about him because he was abusing her, choking her out and stuff like that. I was like, but
like
you keep letting him back though. Like, that's the thing. I've been in messed up situations. You forgive, you try to make, it's like, he's doing the work. You really want to work out. At a certain point, you have to be like, this is the reality. This isn't working. I'm not safe. I have children. We need to be safe. I don't care what you're saying, especially if you're not paying bills. I'm sorry. There's just something deep in me. Maybe it's just having a father. You know, I have daddy privilege.
Because that's like the bare minimum. Yeah. Of like, because what is your function though? Like, what's the, if we're just talking about, right, which we don't want to reduce people down to just that, but yeah, like, what do I look like?
I would not want my dad to, my dad passed, but if in any way his spirit could see me simping for a fuck nigga, I feel like it would crush his spirit. Like, I'm like, everything he sacrificed for me to be what I am, and I'm gonna just lay it at the foot of this dude who can't even pay rent, just a homosexual who's leeching off of my largesse. I can't. My spirit can't abide it.
Yeah, it's not ideal. And then I think, like, if you are in a situation where, you know, come to find out this person is abusive, or come to find out, because, you know, maybe, but a lot of the time it just felt very apparent up front that these people weren't for her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whether they were married or whatever it was, it's like, why are you planting seeds here, girl? This don't make no sense.
Yeah.
These aren't.
So she starts talking about her relationship with Lil Wayne, because a long time ago I read her self-published book, How to Make Love to a Martian or whatever. And that was about her relationship with, this is back when she published it. And I remember reading it back then. I remember it was the first time I ever left an Amazon review, because I was so irritated. I was like, I remember thinking, it's so sad that a woman this intelligent and beautiful thinks that this is what love is. Because she just swore up and down. She probably still this day swears up and down she was in love. They were in love.
Oh my.
And it's like, girl, if he's not returning your phone calls, you're not in a relationship. I don't know why that's so hard. Like, because I'm going to talk about Carrie Bradshaw for a minute. Because the children have discovered Sex and the City, and they are mad.
Loving it, too.
No.
Loving to hate it.
Yes. Because the girls are like, this is not, Carrie is not the recipe.
No, she's not.
Like, she's very much the patron saint of pick-me's. And it's the same thing, you chasing after big. Like, that's not, and that's what I think was damaging about Sex and the City, because they wrote it that they were eventually together. In real life, because Carrie Bradshaw was based on a real person, Candice Bushnell.
Right.
And in real life, there was a real Mr. Big. And you know what he did? He married a younger woman and never talked to her again. That's what happens in real life, okay, guys? Like, we love entertainment. We love fantasy. We love all that stuff. But there's that, and there's real life. In real life, you go chasing after some married man,
girl, your
you
feelings
gonna look like this.
Look
You gonna look like this chick, okay? Like, it's not a good look, and it's a waste of your time and your youth. Don't do it. There's billions of men on the planet. Some of them are gonna love you. Some of them aren't. Go for the ones that love you.
So, okay, so for any young woman who's in a space where maybe they haven't realized their, you know, sort of self-esteem, or their, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they're playing themselves short in a relationship. This person is showing up, you know, whether it's like, oh, you know, he's into me. You think he's into you. He's not really into you, kind of thing. What would you say to the thirsty young gal who's chasing after somebody who you, with all of your experience, can see from a mile away that he ain't shit? how do you get through to that person? Because it's been my personal experience. There's not really much
There's
you
not.
can say.
No, an outsider,
So what are you
no.
supposed to, right? Like,
We
how
have
do you
to-
cultivate that for yourself in the moment?
I
Because
actually have the answer.
please help me, because I need to know.
Listen to the read.
Ah,
They really help because I think it helps the fact that they're queer.
okay.
And so they have an outsider's perspective on hetero relationships. And I think that's really, really valuable. And I know that it helped me a lot. Because they're just like, break up with that nigga. Like, you need to hear it sometimes. Break up with him. Like, it's fine. You should. And like I said, normalizing breakups.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing, too. We've always told that that's like a failure. Breaking up is some sort of failure or some kind of like, I don't know, like lacking on your part.
Yeah.
Like, breakups are normal. And they can be healthy.
Yeah.
And if things aren't working out, if you thought it was going to work out, it's hard admitting we were wrong about a person or a situation. Or sometimes it wasn't even wrong. Sometimes as time goes on, you just now realize we're not compatible.
Yeah.
But especially when there's abuse involved, because abuse doesn't get better, it only gets worse.
Yeah.
And her life was just sort of, and especially because you're participating in the abuse. Because you have to make an agreement with yourself. I'm not going to participate in anything that abuses me.
Right.
And that can be kind of hard when that's been your pattern.
And
Breaking
also,
patterns is hard.
breaking patterns is hard. And also, too, you notice, and I don't know if this same sort of theme continues in Vindicated, but
It does.
You notice that she does not have female friends.
She does not.
So for one, like, I don't know if that's, you don't trust women because you had this contentious relationship with, the first female, your mom. So maybe it's hard for you to trust. But I always say, like, I understand when some women say, like, it can be hard for me to connect with women. And whether that's because you've had tumultuous relationships with those formative years with, whether it's your parents or siblings or whatever. But I'm also kind of side-eyeing you because I'm thinking, like, there are so many fabulous women out here who are
More of them than men.
great, who are great. You know what I'm saying? So, like, is it that you're not opening yourself up because you have some hangups about it? Or is it you? Like, is there something about you that is hard for you to connect with women? Because those are the one, like,
Because women can clock it too.
yeah, like
Just like the
she
men
have
can clock
nobody
a
in her
broken
ear,
person.
like, yo,
Hey.
because the one girl who left her at Mr. Chow's in the bathroom when she was having a seizure off of some bad ecstasy and shit. It's like
You have to keep the right kind of hoes around you because they don't. And
I was
here's
like,
the
this
other
girl ain't
thing:
got no
women can clock too. It's like, this chick's gonna sleep with my man.
that part.
You know what I mean? Because you actually don't have any problem with violating that boundary. So I think a lot of times women can clock that too.
Oh,
So you have that reputation of you slept with a lot of people's men. Maybe I don't necessarily want you coming around.
And what's
So-
crazy is that, like, because I know I've had hoe friends before, because I don't discriminate against women who
We
are.
love the hoes.
I mean, I ain't got no problem with that. But I had to let a friend go because I was like, I don't like how you're.
I know your kind.
Here's the thing: keep that out there where you doing your stuff at. Don't bring that around here.
Yeah, I don't like a boundaryless hoe. Like, yeah, that's
you'll get yourself fucked up. So again, like, I'm not gonna be too judgy about that kind of stuff too. But also when there's a thin line between, like, okay, like, maybe, you're more sexually free, more promiscuous, whatever, that's your business. But when your reputation in terms of just, like, how you're handling yourself, if I'm out with you and people think that because of how you get down, now I'm getting approached like that, like, you need to make it clear. That is one thing that I feel like Mandy would say. Like, she would have, so she was like, certain friends, they not doing all that, so I know I'm not getting ready to be, like, turned up like that around,
Around them.
Yeah, like, again, just know how to.
That's just boundaries.
Know the
They're
room.
beautiful.
Read the room. Yeah,
beautiful,
read the room.
beautiful boundaries.
She just didn't have any for
No.
herself or anybody else,
No.
and it was just extremely messy and hard to watch. And so,
yeah.
for you to
I'm
say
screaming
20
reading
years
this book.
later,
Yeah,
she's
20 years later on the same
still-
stuff, you chasing after some dude who's over 10 years younger than you, who obviously, of course, he's a celebrity. He's in the prime of his life. No, he doesn't want to be tied down to you. Like, there's no.
And
like,
did he tell you that?
Who knows? Because you're only hearing what you want to hear. You see how these men talk to her and what she selects to listen to. Even with the Lil Wayne stuff, it's like, I just knew that Darius just had to accept the fact that, what I had with Lil Wayne was just different. So whenever he was in town, I was just going to go see him no matter what. So she would leave her husband at home to go hang out with Lil Wayne. It's like, so you don't understand.
He was okay with that?
No,
that when he divorced.
that's when his wife's beating her ass. Like, no. Like,
but that's also not
exactly.
divorce.
It's all
What the
bad.
hell?
It's all
That's why he was
bad.
beating her ass.
And that's not okay, but none of that's okay. Like, none of it. So
wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was now there was a point in the book where I had to laugh because even Darius or the Eddie Winslow had to laugh at her because this is when they were married, and she ends up going through his emails and finding some stuff from a sex worker named Felicia Fats. And,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like
Painting
sort
a
of like
picture.
that's her.
It's painting a picture.
It is. So that's, the kink. She's overweight.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and finding like all their little nasty stuff back and forth and trying to confront him with it. And he just starts laughing at her. And she's like, why are you laughing? We're supposed to be married. He was like, girl, be for real. And I remember I wrote down, I'm like, I'm sure the women she cuckolded are enjoying this. Because you know how many women's husbands you done slept with, and now you gonna get mad because your husband's playing on you, girl.
What did you think? Yeah, like, oh,
what
wow.
did you think?
Oh my God.
It was just so irritating.
So what was it with Lil Wayne that she was just so in love with?
She just liked him. He's just fun.
Okay.
Oh, but that was off the list too. Lil Wayne, because she also slept with his buddy, Shad.
Lil Wayne's friend. We'll
Yeah,
put that
so
in the
after Lil
parentheses.
Wayne was done with her, because Lil Wayne knocked up somebody, I don't know, which one of his baby mamas, and so she got mad about that, so she started sleeping with one of his friends.
Was it Lauren London?
Maybe. And so she started sleeping with one of his friends, and then made it a point that Wayne knew about it. Like, made sure
He's probably gonna give a damn.
Well, he got like a little irritated. Like, he wanted to make the friend know that really he could still get her. And stuff like that. It's
Obviously.
just all these little petty games
Like
that
ego
men play
stuff.
with each other and treat women like tokens. It was just so dumb.
So gross.
Yeah.
So you loved it, is what I'm hearing. And that's what I hear. Is that, between the writing and just the growth over time, you were impressed, and
I'll let you know.
Just-
Can we go to break and then we can rate it after break, and I'll let you know how I feel about
only because you're
the book.
only because
little
you're
rings coming out.
concussed. That's the
Yeah,
only
see.
reason why.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back, you guys. All right, guys, so welcome back from the break. What a ride Karrine Steffans has been on, man. You know what? I was thinking about the fact that in her story, because I think when she first got into sex work, working as a stripper underage, she came up with this alter ego, and how a lot of women have to do that to even participate in sex work, because there's this part
protect
of
yourself.
Yeah, to protect yourself. You're disassociating yourself, but also just over time, so she went from being Yasette Santiago to using her name Karrine Steffans to being named Superhead. And I think that it was reported that she used another name, Corinne Joy Wright, which I don't know if she wrote anything under that, but to now, as of 2015, now she's Elizabeth Overseen. I don't know which one of these. I thought Karrine Steffans was her government name, and now they're saying Elizabeth Overseen.
She's trying to say that Karrine Steffans was a pen name. So fine.
It's just interesting to note that this person seems to be trying to find themselves still. And I think that we all are.
Sure.
So in some ways, it's okay, I don't want to be too judgmental, but I will say, if we're just rating the book and talking about how we felt about, and I don't know which one you want to rate.
I'm rating both. I'm giving both the same rating.
The same thing. Okay, well, why don't you go first? You seem pretty sure of yourself.
I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
Broken condoms.
Oof. Damn. That's terrible. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yowza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely, I don't really recommend anyone putting themselves through reading these books. You already have the list. There's really not more. That's pretty much what people wanted to know, who you had sex with and when and where. And it's, because was Usher on the list?
Usher.
Yeah,
I may not have said
that.
him, but yeah, Usher's in there. Wait, did I say Usher?
So, yeah, he in
I
there.
didn't put him on the list, but he was definitely on there.
Yeah, he was on the list. What was your rating?
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give her 3 out of 5 pasties.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's generous.
Yeah, I'm giving her 3 out of 5.
Oh, Vin Diesel.
Oh, Vin Diesel. Yeah, she loved him, y'all. She loved him. He seemed to be nice,
He
though.
did
She
seem
talked
nice.
about him.
Like I said, like he seemed like an actual gentleman.
I'm
That
gonna put
sounded
Damn, there was a
fun.
lot. Damn, Vin Diesel. Let me put him on the list. Vin.
It was, listen, that's one hell of a life.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, for me reading this book, it was very much like trying to imagine her as a broken teenager. You know what I'm saying? And like you say, in a lot of ways, it feels like maybe she was stunted in that. And so that's where she was moving from. So a lot of her narration around some of this stuff seemed wildly like childish and disassociated.
Yeah.
And that just comes with, you know, just, being from where she was from and having those experiences and stuff like that. And her, I mean, like, sleeping with her kid in the car and stuff like that, and just
When you say that, just like sleeping in the car with her kid. Did you say sleeping with your kid? That's another way. Like
Sleeping
especially
in the car with your kid. Yes, words do
especially if
matter.
you have English as a second language, that would have sounded crazy.
It's saying, yes, but just being in a situation where you're unhoused with your child and just the vulnerable, like you being a woman just is already a vulnerable situation, single, and then it just was like really sad. It was hard not to like feel sorry for her in a way, but then also be like, what are you?
What's it gonna take?
What
does it take for you to kind of snap
and
out
I
of
think
this?
the village is what she was missing in a lot of this, is that she just didn't ever really have. It didn't seem like it. She didn't highlight it. The people in her life, like, what are you doing though? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can always come back from some stuff. So I think that's the part that I wanted to see or wished for in that book, was like the arc of her like growing and learning. So that's that. But also, I wanted to mention just real quick, because on the break,
we have a Stranger Than Fiction.
We have a Stranger Than Fiction, guys, and it's kind of messed up. So I just saw this little headline on my news app on my phone. It says OnlyFans model 20 cannot speak after being found on the side of a road with a broken spine and limbs. So OnlyFans model Maria.
So I would say she was left for dead.
Basically, like, damn, you had a broken spine?
Yeah.
She had been missing for 10 days and found severely injured and dumped on the side of the road in Dubai. A 20-year-old had been missing since she told her friends that she was invited to a hotel party on March the 9th. This is according to the Daily Mail. Her loved ones became worried when 2 days later, the model did not make her scheduled flight from Dubai to Thailand. Maria, who was originally from Ukraine, per The Sun, was found on March the 19th. The Daily Mail reported she was discovered near a Dubai road with several injuries, including a broken spine and multiple broken limbs on the outlet. I can stop there. You kind of get the gist, but like when you read that headline, what do you think happened?
It's all too common. Like once again, it sounds like she was assaulted and left for dead. It happens every day, all over the world. Like it's so common as to be mundane at this point.
Wow.
And it's really, really sad. Once again, it's getting a story because she has notoriety for being an OnlyFans model, but a lot of times there's this disregard for when bad things happen to sex workers, because we see sex as something bad. So if you're selling it, you kind of deserve what happens to you. But I don't agree with that.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I mean, and not to make light of it, but it's like, why would you want to be mean to this person who's providing you with something that, like, clearly nobody else wants to give you? Like, clearly, because if they were willing to, you wouldn't have to pay somebody for it.
Yeah.
So and it's like, so what is the point of like that?
But I think it comes out of, like, at least in America anyway, like purity culture. Because I feel like from a very early age, I was taught that sex was, and like my sexual desire was a bad and dirty thing. And so when you're coming from that perspective, anything that comes out of it that's bad, you should just expect.
Right.
And since you're already doing something bad, what does it matter if I do something worse?
Even worse, yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of, this is a positive, good experience.
Right.
And we should go into it with respect, with consent, all of those things.
But then, or how do you feel about sex though? Is my question. Like, is this something dirty and gross that you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
probably.
I don't.
Like, they probably, once again,
weird.
once again, I feel like you can't hurt another human being without also hating yourself. Like, if you have this much animosity and disgust towards another human being for a natural human desire, you can't really be okay with yourself. And so I think it's one of the nice things about podcasts. Like I said, even like Horrible Decisions, like listening to joyful, consensual experiences that aren't entered into with judgment. And staying away from people who are trying to judge you for enjoying your sex life. Yeah. Like, to me, that was a very, very, once again, I feel like a lesson I got later in life, but is good to know. And also, just a free plug for their book, because they're trying to be on the bestsellers list, is No Holes Barred, a dual manifesto. So it's both of their books, Weezy and Mandy. I'm really looking for, I hope we can cover it on the podcast, because I'm really looking forward to.
Not?
And they're doing an audio book too.
Oh, are they?
Yes. Yes. Oh, nice. So I feel like it's coming out in June.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to pre-order it so it can be on the bestseller list and all of that stuff. But yeah,
I love that.
I think that's I think it's really helpful too, because, you know, once again, I had read this before having them introduced in my life, and like I said, it's been so hard to because it's still in me, like being indoctrinated with sort of purity culture. It's hard to get rid of that, but it's possible. Like, definitely, you don't have to stay in that place. And I'm happy for all the young women out there who don't have to deal with that.
Absolutely. And then I'm sorry, because so now I'm up here and I'm gonna wrap this up, but what's even crazier about this story is that, like, the police were reporting that, like, she fell from a height, like on a restricted construction site. But the last time her mom talked to her, she was like, oh yeah, I met these two guys. They're supposed to be representatives of this modeling company, but nobody saw her at this party that they were supposed to be going to. So that's the other part too, like, just the covering up and protection of
people,
like, of people in these situations, because you just feel entitled to women. So, like, while it's, you know, while, like, I feel judgy, or there's some judgment about Karrine or Elizabeth or whatever, you know, at the end of the day, like, I don't think that because you're in sex work or sex work adjacent, that, like, you should instantly be disrespected. But at the same time, you do, when you have I don't know, you got to keep good people around you, because if you don't have the good sense to detect what's going on, don't go into these situations alone. Have protection, have people around you. Let people know where you're
especially
going.
when you're 20.
My God. Jesus. And that's what I'm saying.
And don't
like,
have any upper body.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and no upper body strength. Yeah.
It's just so sad. Nobody deserves that, no matter what kind of, like, work you're involved in. So I just want to put that out there, though. But you know, and for Elizabeth Overseen, hopefully you are learning. We're always learning and evolving and getting to a point where you truly love yourself and think you deserve the best in life. You know what I'm saying? And really, like, for your kids especially. So that's
all right. Let's spin the wheel. All right, next week we're going to be reviewing Win or Lose on Disney Plus, I want to say. Is that Disney Plus?
Yes.
Yes, it's an animated series Moni was telling me about. Weirdly enough, usually I'm the one who's putting us on the animated series. So I'm like, okay, this must be good, because she never recommends cartoons. So I'm really excited to watch it and talk about it.
Me too, friend. It's going to be fun. So you guys come back next week. Do some stuff you love. Life is short.
And yeah, your body belongs to you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Peace. Bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.